Here it is. See? I told you we would be 0-3. It's not a surprise. If there's one thing the Giants are consistent at, it's losing. Now, I'm actually not. I actually thought the Giants were going to lose by more. They ended up losing 22-9, but I thought that this was going to be the Chiefs get right game, right? I thought this was going to be the game where the Chiefs look like the Chiefs of the past, where Kelce has over 100 yards and like 2 touchdowns, and Mahomes is running and throwing all over the field, and they'd score like 35 points, and we'd have like 14 or something. But really, for 2.5 to 3 quarters, the Chiefs looked horrible. And again, just like the Cowboys game last week, I think that this game says more about the Chiefs than it does the Giants, because we know Giants are bad, they're not going anywhere. But for the Chiefs to look this bad against the Giants, right? Because this wasn't their get right game. They looked just as bad this week as they've looked last week and the week before. They were missing open guys. I mean, even though the score is 22-9, I mean, that last touchdown was mainly due to that long throw to Thornton that Mahomes had, which ended up being basically a 50-50 jump ball that he did twice. He did it once, and he didn't connect, and then he just did it again. And it basically was a 50-50 ball, and you can't win consistently doing that. So the Chiefs really didn't get that much going on offense. So they only look like they're about 30 or 40% as good as they used to be. Now, lucky for them, that's all it really takes to beat the Giants, because the Giants, they're not, I don't even, all right, let me put it this, I don't even have words for what the Giants are. Honestly, if you told me, and I know nobody in the Giants organization will admit this, but if you told me that Brian Dable doesn't want to be a head coach anymore, or at least doesn't want to be a head coach for the Giants. Maybe he's seeing the success that Barkley had and the success that Daniel Jones has had, and he goes, you know what? Maybe if I get out of here, I'll have that success. So if you told me he's actively like not, I wouldn't say he's actively trying to lose games in terms of like he's telling guys, hey, just fumble the ball away, hey, just throw it to the other team, although it certainly looked like that's what he told Russell Wilson. But if you told me he wants to lose games, so he's literally just putting in the most vanilla offense that you could possibly put in and just running the most predictable plays because he doesn't want to score a lot of points and he doesn't want to continue being the head coach of this team, I wouldn't be surprised. Now, nobody's going to say that, but like I said, that's what it looks like on the field. Because like they've been saying since probably last year, you have to try to be this bad, you know? And I've come to the realization, and I've said this in a couple of past videos, it's not the talent. Okay, I'm not saying we have the greatest talent, but there's a lot of teams in the league that don't have the greatest talent, and they still score points. Okay, they still score points. You don't need. You're telling me all these teams that are scoring points. I'm not saying winning, but scoring points. They have great wide receivers, great linebackers. I'm sorry, great linebackers, great linemen, great running backs. No, but they know how to scheme a guy open. Which, I mean, come on. They were dedicating the Chiefs so many resources to Malik Nabers, a guy over the top, plus the cornerback, plus they had the linebacker shade underneath. It's like 2.5 to 3 guys on Malik Nabers. You're telling me you can't scheme open Wan'Dale Robinson or Darius Slayton, right? The only thing you can get is a little flat route to the running backs. Where are the tight ends on this team too? They did that one little short screen to Theo Johnson, which basically was nothing. They just got lucky that he pushed the pile down for a first down, but that's not really even a play. There's no downfield passing to tight ends in this offense. So I don't know, maybe it's because Russell Wilson can't throw to the middle of the field. I don't know. But I don't even see pass catching tight ends on the field. It's all Bellinger and that Manhurts guy. So I don't know. But they took Nabers out. And again, you can't scheme Nabers open. I mean, do a motion. I don't think Nabers ran a drag route the whole game. All he runs, Nabers now, is streaks down the field, go routes, comebacks, little comebacks, and like out routes. That's the only 3 routes he runs now. He doesn't run anything behind the line of scrimmage. They don't try to throw screen passes to him. They don't run any drag routes with him. They don't change up their scheme in any way. So but it's the coaching, okay? It's not the talent, okay? It's the coaching and maybe the organization. There's just like this stink on the organization that like nobody wants to play here, especially when they see guys like Barkley and Jones leave and do better. I'm sure you have guys like Neighbors, you know, that are looking, and probably even some of the guys on defense that are looking and go, man, if I got out of here and went to whatever team, oh, I'd be so good, right? And I could tell you some of the players. Be Neighbors. It would be Evan Neal, the lineman. It would be Deontay Banks. These guys would go other places and be great, but here, I guess they don't want to play for the Giants or the coach or whatever. So, not surprised we're 0-3. I am surprised, like I said, that we actually were not the Chiefs get right game. So, and now there's the talk, and Russell Wilson too looked horrible. I mean, first of all, the line looked fine last night. So again, I don't know if this is a scheme thing. I mean, I don't know what the two throws were at the end of the game. He threw it to, I guess maybe he tried to give somebody in the stands a souvenir. I mean, he just gave nobody a chance. And I get it. It's probably because he's frustrated. The scheme isn't getting anybody open, and literally, like, Russell Wilson's like, what am I supposed to do? Just throw it directly at a defender? He goes, so nobody's open. I'm just kind of floating the ball somewhere and hoping that somebody runs and gets it. I'm sure that has to be a big part of it because he's a 10-time Pro Bowl, Super Bowl winning quarterback. I can't imagine he doesn't know how to throw to an open guy. And unfortunately, he's too old now to make plays with his legs to extend a play or, whatever. So basically, he's left with looking at a sea of receivers that have not been schemed open. They're all covered, locked down. So he just got to float the ball somewhere and hope somebody kind of gets lucky and gets a hand on it, makes a catch. But still, he didn't look great. So now, and before I get to this, I know I want to talk about Dart. Scatterboo. I like Scatterboo. I like the energy he brings, okay? And it's not translating to wins. It's barely even translating to points. He got, barely got that touchdown. But I do like the way he plays, the intensity and the desire to run people over. That's the kind of thing that we need on this team. However, especially for a guy his size, he's not the size of Adrian Peterson or whatever. It's not sustainable. He's going to get injured. He's going to fumble. Where he would be great? On a team like the Eagles, right? A team like that, or a team like the Lions, where you have a shifty, quick back that can make defenders chase him around, and then you get in the power back that can run somebody over and really put the hurt on the defense. He's not a number one every down back. And I know he only had 10 touches in the game, so that's not a lot. But now the Giants are running out of options. Okay, Tracy got hurt because they decided, it's a good game plan? The first 10 plays, just give it to Tracy, just over and over. Like, again, it's almost like the Giants are spite coaching. Like, the last couple weeks we were like, where's the run game? I don't understand. Why are we throwing it so much? We should be running the ball more. So then they come out and they go, oh, you want us to run the ball more? We're just going to run it like 10 times in a row with the same guy and the same run concept. Like, mix it up. At least mix up the guys. No, they ran Tracy. Maybe it was like the first 7 plays were runs. Then there was like a little pass. And then like the next 2 plays were runs. And then Tracy got injured. So he's out. So now you just have Scatterboo and Singletary. So clearly Scatterboo is the number one. But he can't keep running like that. He's going to wear down. But I do like his energy, and I do like what he brings. Now getting to Dart. They were chanting, we want Dart in the Giants Stadium. MetLife, whatever. And I definitely think he brings an uptick in energy. I definitely think he's going to bring an uptick in elusiveness to be able to run around in the pocket, something that Wilson doesn't really have anymore. And that might open up some things in the passing game because teams might bring more of the linebackers down to stop Dart. But I don't see, and of course, the dream is he comes in, he lights the league up, kind of like he did in preseason, and totally changes the season for the Giants. And even if we're not winning games, it makes us feel better about the future, and he could become the talk of the league, kind of like Jayden Daniels was last year. It's not going to happen, and I'll tell you why. Even if he has that talent, even if he has Jayden Daniels level talent to be able to take over the franchise right from the start, this coaching staff is going to handicap him. They're going to handicap him with their crappy schemes and their stupid play calling. And so you're not going to see that true potential. But what you may see is enough talent there that a prospective head coach that comes here might want to keep him versus drafting another guy. But I don't think you're going to see this big explosive offense. First of all, you saw it in week 2 against the Cowboys with Russell Wilson, and we still lost. So even if you do see this big explosive offense, Dart probably not going to win anyway. But I don't see that happening. I see a bit of an uptick in rushing, particularly from the quarterback, which might help the running backs. And I see maybe you'll get an extra touchdown a game with Dart, in the red zone or something. Which, okay, would have helped us beat the Cowboys, but we still would have lost to the Commanders, still would have lost to the Chiefs, and we're probably going to lose to the Chargers next week. So he's not going to be the be-all, end-all savior. Essentially, all we're going to get as Giants fans if we put Dart in is to just see, can he operate an NFL offense? Does he have some kind of charisma to him, the Riz, and just get him some reps to see NFL action. He's not going to change the franchise around. Honestly, I don't think anything can change this franchise around with this coaching staff, or at least with Dable as the head coach, because we did see with Daniel Jones. We didn't see with Daniel Jones and Barkley, and after they've left, we've seen that what they can do. So they definitely, those two guys, had the talent to change a franchise around. I mean, Daniel Jones is doing it in with the Colts, he's helping change that franchise around. Yeah, he's got Jonathan Taylor, who rushed pretty well this week too, but they had the talent there. And now you have Neighbors, right? You have a 10-time Pro Bowl, Super Bowl winning quarterback in Russell Wilson. He was a little washed, right? You have Wan'Dale Robinson, who's pretty good. You have a big tight end that could be a down the field threat, and yet still can't win games. So it's not going to happen. I would like to see Dart play just to see what he is. Just to see, it's kind of like Cam Scatterboot, like I just said. He's going to bring in energy, and he's going to bring in excitement to the offense. Now, is that going to translate into points? No, because it's not translating into points with Cam Scatterboot either. But it will still be better to watch than what we're watching now, and at least we'll be watching with a purpose, which is to see the development of Dart, to get him, to watch him become more comfortable, and to see if we have some kind of semblance of a quarterback moving into the future, even though I do think this particular coaching staff is going to handicap him. What are we watching right now? You're going to lose, right? We're going to lose to the Chargers. Honestly, with the way the Giants have been playing, because we now know the Cowboys game was a total anomaly, which I had said, that game spoke more about the Cowboys than the Giants. The game was a total anomaly. So the way they played against the Commanders and the way they played against the Chiefs is the way that the Giants offense operates. So they're going to lose to the Chargers. They might even lose to the Saints. And they're probably going to lose to the Broncos too. And then in between there, you got the Eagles twice. So you could be looking at no wins by midway through the season. And I didn't even realize this. This is the first time the Giants have started 0-3 under Brian Dable. So things, last year was bad, and how could it get worse? Things have literally gotten worse, because last year we were 1-2 through 3 games, and this year we're 0-3. So it is getting worse. And honestly, if I was Mara, and not that he's knows anything about football, but if I was the owners, I would fire Dable right now, because you have a big sample size. This is Daniel Jones all over again, but with the coach. You have a big sample size. Okay. He's not going to come out next week and you're going to be like, oh my God, where was this coach? Right? Like Tom Coughlin did it in 2007. First of all, that actually was his 4th year. But the Giants had success with Tom Coughlin up until that 4th year. Right? In fact, the Giants had the success of the first 3 seasons of Coughlin with Brian Dable. Oh, the Giants would love it. Right? And the first year was kind of a throwaway year because they put Eli Manning in halfway through the season and they lost a bunch of games. But the second year they went 11-5 with Eli Manning as the quarterback, and then the third year they went 8-8. And then people were like, "Oh, Coughlin should be fired." Fired. They wanted to fire a coach after an 8-8 season. We can't even fire a coach now after a 5-win season or a 4-win season, but they wanted to fire him after an 8-win season. And then the fourth year, the Giants went 9-7, and then went on to win the Super Bowl. So, and that was mainly because Tom Coughlin had changed the way that he coached and tried to relate to the players more instead of being very hard nosed. But he had success. Okay, Brian Dable had 1 year of success and then 2 years of like way worse than 500 football, way worse. So he should be gone. If I was the owners, he'd be gone. I'd let Kafka be the interim coach. Not that I think he's going to do any better. I don't think so. But at this point, you got to keep fans interested. And I know people say, well, you got to think about football operations. You can't make hasty moves. It doesn't matter. Whatever the moves the Giants make are going to be wrong. So why keep trotting out the same boring thing? If it's going to be wrong no matter what, at least bring a little energy, a little sizzle, a little guts to what you're doing, right? So I would fire Dable. I'd fire him like right now, like this week. I'd make Kafka the interim head coach, and I tell him, put Dart in. Let Dart play. And people go, oh, it's going to ruin Dart. It's not going to ruin Dart. If he's truly a talented player, he'll be fine. Okay? Daniel Jones was ruined for 6 years here, and then he goes to the Colts and he's fine. So he might be, Dart might be ruined with this staff, but then if they bring in a competent staff and a true head coach, somebody who's been there before and been a head coach, they'll get him right. I don't, if Daniel Jones can get right after 6 years of bad habits, Jackson Dart will be able to get right. He'll be fine. Right now, you got to bring that spark. You have a little with Cam Scatterboo, bring in more with Dart, get rid of Dable, bring in Kafka as the interim. And again, I'm not saying Kafka's good. He's probably horrible too, but it's a change. And then you finish out the year like that, and then at the end of the year, probably get rid of everybody and start over with a proven head coach. The Giants could have almost gotten Jim Harbaugh here. And he wanted to come here, and we didn't want it. We didn't want him. So now it's time. Stop trying to find these diamond in the rough coaches. Find a true, proven coach that can come in here, change the culture to a winning one, and hopefully change the Giants' fortunes. But unfortunately, to see that, we're gonna have to wait till next year. So the best we could hope for now is a shakeup with the coaches that are currently on the staff, and maybe we get to see Jackson Dart. But don't expect a much better product. Just expect to see some different characters in the show.